What is up, my med spa people? I'm Ben Chu.
And I'm Jen Bullock, nurse practitioner.
And this is Med Spa Secrets. So today we are coming at you with basically the topic of how to build relationships with the various reps in the business that you're going to be dealing with. People who are employed by device manufacturers, injectable manufacturers, and skincare product manufacturers primarily. And they form basically the front line of people that you're going to be doing business with to do business with these bigger companies that make everything in our industry. Obviously, you started meeting the reps first before I did. What are your thoughts on reps?
The different reps are going to oftentimes show up once you fill out a form online or you are somewhat established in your practice. So you've set up shop and you've decided, hey, these are the types of products that I want to carry in my office. For me, I had ordered some products from a couple of different companies and I had done a demo with a laser manufacturer. And that was how I developed my initial first relationships with when I filled out the application to buy some fillers and some injectables and then trialed a laser that I was interested in.
So I really think that, because I get online and I get into the different owners communities and like the AmSpa forum in different areas, and I feel like the med spa world is almost split on reps. I know that for us and at Illume Aesthetics, our reps with the various companies that we do business with have been huge resources for us. They're definitely key components in how we've been able to grow to like where we are. But I also hear a lot of people, or read mostly, a lot of people complaining or belly aching in the community about like reps just showing up to just sell them something and then wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, they're ghosted. And then like they can never get a hold of the reps again. And people, I hear that they don't have very good experiences sometimes. So it seems almost there's these camps where for some med spas, reps are these major resource, and for others, they're like just people that just sell things and disappear. Like, what kind of are your thoughts on that sort of stuff?
I think so. When you are a practice and maybe you're busy or you don't have a lot of time, I do feel like there is almost an aversion to connecting with sales representatives, right? There is the whole idea of, oh, they're just here to sell me something. One of the things for me is I didn't really know a ton about the industry when I first started. And so I looked at the relationship with the reps that I met initially from Galderma and from Allergan, and then the laser device manufacturer. The first device I bought was a Venus Versa. I looked at those relationships as an opportunity to have insight into what I didn't know. And I asked a lot of questions and I asked them for help with things and I utilized them like a partner.
That's a really good point, actually, because that's really what it should be, is like almost like a partnership.
And I didn't really know what I didn't know. And so we built these relationships and some friendships with some of the representatives. And every time they showed up, I made time for them and was willing to sit with them and use what they had to bring to the table because they knew more than I did.
Right, and then I've watched and also been party to some of that, but over the past couple of years, I've seen the reps bring so much value into our company, into Illume Aesthetics, in terms of what would otherwise amount to being like thousands and thousands of dollars of like training time. They bring in, like Allergan or Galderma, bring in master trainers to come in and train you and other nurse injector staff members and stuff over the years. And Candela and Venus Versa, they send in people to train staff on the lasers and to do continuing education and stuff on that. And I really feel like people that only develop a relationship with the reps as only like sales representatives rather than like partners and like a support network, that like a lot of them don't even utilize that as much, I see. And I almost wonder, like, how did you even learn how to use the laser? If the only contact you've had is like just sales interactions.
Yeah, I think that's another point is like I have always just my reps to come and help on events and things like that. A lot of times I'll ask to have them donate something for a device that has consumables. I'll say, hey, can you donate a consumable for this particular procedure so that I can give it away. And then I'll invite them to come to the event and interact with our clients. And they do their own education about the device or a treatment option or something like that. And not only does it take some of the pressure off of me as a provider to be like the only one doing the talking and the presenting, but the patient's excited about the different procedures and learning about all of the different things that the reps have to offer as far as products and services.
And technology.
Exactly. That's been a really valuable thing, at least in our practice, is bringing the reps in for those kinds of events and stuff.
It's not just like training and them providing complimentary or free product to give away and trial people on, or for get parties as prizes and stuff like that. But you know how nothing ever goes according to plan? Like eventually something is going to happen to that machine that you bought from them, or somebody's going to have a bad reaction to a skincare product or something like that. Or maybe something was supposed to ship from the company and it arrived damaged, or it never actually arrived or something. And I hear about how other practices end up like going rounds and rounds with whoever the manufacturer is and customer service, and they can never get any traction and they can't ever get the help that they need. And it's this huge thing that they're posting about this giant problem that they've had. But we've had a problem at Illume. We've basically, as far as I know, and like every time I've been involved with it, it's like we call up the rep, explain the problem to them, and then it gets taken care of. And I don't know why other practices don't always utilize that. And it's probably because, again, they just see them as salespeople and they don't like invest in time or develop a relationship or anything like that. But really, it's the representative. It's not the sales agent. Like they're representing the company to you, and that comes with so much more than just sales.
Yeah, I've had experiences where I had a device break down and my sales rep for Candela brought me his device and let me use it as a loaner. There's been multiple times where I've had experiences like that, or something lost in shipping, or had my Allergan rep bring me something that I needed right then and right there because she happened to be in town and something was held up in shipping. Really having those relationships can really broach some of or create just less problems in just communication with the overall bigger company.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a huge amount of value that a lot of med spa owners just kind of leave on the table because they don't think about it in that sense. And that kind of brings up the point that, like, yeah, in our experience, our reps have provided us with tons of awesome training, and they take care of all of our problems, and they give us free stuff to give away to people to make our patients happy and to get people to come to our events and stuff. But none of that would be possible or could be possible if we didn't really develop the relationships. I think that kind of then begs the question for those watching is like, how can people develop these amazing relationships with their device reps, their manufacturer reps?
I think part of it is making time for them when they come into town and swing by. Nowadays, I mean, since COVID, people are more apt to make an appointment and let you know they're coming. But we always set aside time to do the in-office meetings, the lunch and learns. When we have a rep that comes into town and they want to take you out to dinner, go to dinner with them. There's so much that happens. It's not just about the relationship, but they'll tell you about behind the scenes stuff that are happening within the company, things that can really make an impact and with the growth of your company and with the growth of the practice and connecting you up with other providers, maybe things that I can't. There's been a lot of times where I've had a question and maybe it's not on label. So the device rep can't speak to that, but they can connect you with a provider that maybe uses something off label, because how many times do we do things off label? So much of what we do is off label. The other thing that I think is really important is being available as you become more experienced to be a resource for your reps.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point. I know that, for one, yes, like always do make time for your reps, like you brought up there just a moment ago. Why wouldn't you want someone else to buy a free lunch for all of your staff and for you just to sit down with them for 15 minutes to talk about like the products that you're probably going to be interested in anyways? For one, you're going to start developing that relationship with the rep. For two, your staff loves it because they're getting a free lunch, right? And so it's just like a win-win. You can develop these relationships, you can get free lunch or coffee for your staff, which makes them happy, and then you can start enjoying all of these benefits of training and product and problem solving and all of that. I think another honing in kind of on the things you just said there too is that, taking the time to go out to dinner with them and get to know them like as a person, as a human being. And that's where like the relationship part of it really comes in. I think about our relationship with our Allergan rep, and we know like when she's getting married and going on her honeymoon, and like we know that like we're gonna get like a Christmas card from her or something like that. And like we know who these people are now as people. So there's a real relationship, and that goes above and beyond a little bit above and beyond like just the business, like what can you do for me aspects of it. And I feel like that's where like when you get to that level with your rep, that's where things can like really shine, because they will go like above and beyond what's expected for you and for your practice, because now they're your friend, right?
Absolutely. And I know for like us, that provided us an opportunity. Like last year I was asked to be a educator for Candela, and I hosted a couple of providers in office, which provided me some monetary stuff. I got paid to do it, but also then we were invited to be the speakers at another event that was hosted, and then they asked us to be a 2022 key opinion leader. That's been a really cool experience, and without those personal relationships, we wouldn't have been able to do those
none
things.
of that would have happened. It's simply there would have never been like the basis or the foundation for it. Now we painted this awesome picture of like how beneficial reps can be for your med spa, for your business, cultivating those relationships, getting to know them as people. So what if someone is just thinking about just starting out, or maybe they've like only been open for a month or two or something? They're in that kind of phase where they're either thinking about starting, or they're just thinking about starting, or just have started rather. And maybe they haven't had the opportunity yet to meet any reps. They're not on Allergan's radar yet. They're not on Galderma's radar yet. How might a brand new person or somebody that has just started go about making these initial connections?
I think the first thing is picking essentially a brand that you think you want to work with. Botox or Juvederm fillers is one of the most commonly used injectable lines.
They're like the Coke of aesthetics, right? Coca-Cola.
Exactly. And so getting on their website and applying for an account is like number one. Sometimes it takes a little bit for a rep to show up and actually build a relationship, but oftentimes you'll have some kind of a connection with an account manager that's gonna know that you're on the radar. And as you're starting to order things and you're starting to do business, they're gonna show up and they're gonna help build your practice with you, right? They're going to send somebody that's going to find out a little bit about you and help you with that process. When you're first starting out, sometimes if you're in that process, waiting for one of the bigger guys to show up, working with some of the smaller companies can really beautiful partnerships. I know that Vo is really very supportive of a lot of smaller new practices. MERS, when I first started, Galderma was huge and showing up and doing some trainings, and over time Allergan became my biggest partner. Sometimes it's about going and meeting somebody at a trade show or talking to other practices. I'm part of several forums, and so a lot of times I'll see people say, hey, I'm looking for a really good skincare line. I put in a request to Zoe or Obagi or something, and I haven't heard back. And oftentimes there'll be somebody who has a connection for a rep, and maybe they're not the rep for your territory, but they'll know how to get in touch with the rep for your territory.
Totally.
So networking and finding out who knows somebody who can help you. Other times it can be even another rep from another company, right? They oftentimes know each other, and there's some competition, but when it comes to like my laser manufacturer, my first rep had so many connections within the industry that weren't just laser connections. He was able to connect me up with a specific skincare line that I was interested in, or a trainer that I was interested in. So really just utilizing the connections within the forums, at the trade shows, and online.
Yeah, so that's going to really be your primary ways to make that first connection with your other reps that you're interested in meeting and starting to build those relationships. Clearly, reps can be either like an amazing resource for building your med spa, making your med spa profitable, all of those amazing things, or they can be like a totally wasted opportunity and waste of a relationship. And really, the choice is yours, my friends. And you can pick your own adventure with your reps in that regard. But hopefully, we were able to provide some value, shed some cool light or insights on meeting reps, developing those relationships with them. If you enjoyed this episode, please hit that like button, hit subscribe, and we'll look forward to seeing you for more Med Spa Secrets.
Bye, guys.